Kelowna's development future is in jeopardy, and it's all due to an insufficient electrical capacity, or, in other words, a lack of electricity. There simply isn't enough power for developers to keep up with housing targets or to keep up with growing demand and a growing population. If you live in Kelowna or you're thinking about moving to the city, you're probably thinking, how does this affect the affordable supply of housing and how long will this last? In this video, we'll break down exactly what's happening, how long it could last, and what it could mean for house prices in the city. According to a recent report from the Urban Development Institute, development in Kelowna may come to a standstill as a result of the existing electrical system that can't guarantee power availability for future projects. This could be a huge problem as Kelowna continues to grow. If you look around the city right now, the skyline is littered with construction cranes building new developments that are not only for purchasers but also purpose-built rentals. In the city alone, there's about 1,800 purpose-built rentals that are supposed to come to the market over the next 2 years. But before we get into the details, I'm Tyrell Boake, a realtor in Kelowna, and on this channel, I help you navigate the real estate market and provide you with useful information so you can make informed decisions that make sense for you. If you'd like to stay up to date on what's going on in Kelowna and the Kelowna market, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you're looking to buy in Kelowna or the Okanagan, you can book a call with me down in the description. Starting with a recent Stories article, we can see that Kelowna's development future is in jeopardy due to insufficient electrical capacity. The article starts with a bold statement in that, in what can only be described as a shocking letter, the Urban Development Institute said this week that development in Kelowna may come to a standstill as a result of insufficient electrical infrastructure. Kelowna's real estate development industry is facing significant uncertainty as FortisBC has indicated it cannot guarantee power availability for new projects over the next several years. For those of you that don't know, and I think it mentions it later in the article, Fortis is the main power supplier here in the Okanagan. UDI goes on to say that several developers have been informed that power cannot be assured for projects until 2027 to 2029. As I mentioned, FortisBC serves as the regional electricity provider for the southern interior region of British Columbia. In the fall of 2024, Fortis said that it plans to spend $157 million towards electrical infrastructure in the region over the next 3 years. But that is still pending approval from the British Columbia Utilities Commission, the province's regulatory agency, and UDI Okanagan said the investment was neither sufficient nor timely to accommodate Kelowna's rapid population growth. Without a reliable electricity supply, development in the region is at risk of stalling, with some projects potentially being abandoned altogether. This has the potential to disrupt the City of Kelowna's ability to meet its provincial housing targets. The lack of certainty regarding power availability poses a serious financial risk. Developers cannot proceed with the confidence if there is no guarantee that buildings will have access to electricity upon completion. This uncertainty has shaken confidence in Kelowna's development community. Jeremy Don, who's a Kelowna-based developer, went on to say that Kelowna's worst-kept secret is finally out. Power supply constraints have been a simmering issue in our development community for years, and now, with FortisBC confirming it cannot guarantee power for new projects until as late as 2029, the reality is hitting hard. He goes on to say that the City of Kelowna's official community plan has been guiding responsible growth, but the disconnect between municipal planning and provincial infrastructure delivery is glaring. And once you add in the aggressive electrification mandates, such as EV requirements for electric vehicles, building code changes, and net zero targets, and demand is only going up, but the supply of power isn't keeping pace. He also adds that this isn't just a developer problem, it's a business problem, and it's a resident problem, and it's a government problem. We need urgent, coordinated action between the province, FortisBC, and municipalities to ensure infrastructure investments align with Kelowna's growth and not lag years behind it. Fortis did respond to the report by saying that they understand the concerns expressed by developers regarding the current delays it experienced with connecting to the power supply. We take these issues very seriously and are committed to addressing them as quickly as possible. FortisBC says that over the past 5 years, it has added 10,000 new customers and 6,000 more families in multi-unit residences and businesses in Kelowna, as well as approved 8,000 multi-unit homes and businesses to be connected in the future. They add that FortisBC has also been upgrading existing substations around the region and has already invested $68 million in electricity conservation initiatives. So this shows you that the city's growing already and they already have some projects which they've approved to add to the grid, but we're getting to the point where any new projects may not have a guaranteed access to the power supply. This issue was also covered by a local website called Castanet. Their article went on to say that Kelowna's development industry may be strangled by a lack of electricity. FortisBC has started telling developers in Kelowna it can no longer guarantee electricity for new projects until 2027 or as late as 2029. The real estate development industry is now facing a major uncertainty. This crisis isn't just about one development. It's about a systematic failure that impacts housing, job creation, and the city's ability to meet provincial and federal housing targets. A local development manager, which was interviewed for the article, said that his company's recent proposal to build a mixed-use development, including 85 residential units on Pandosy Street, could be impacted. He says that his company started the project believing they would have power in the first quarter of 2028. We might finish a building with no power. Therefore, it won't be occupied, and then the snowball effect happens. The article goes on to cover the news release from the Urban Development Institute, and it says that without a reliable electricity supply, development in the region is at risk of stalling, with some projects potentially being abandoned altogether. This has the potential to disrupt the City of Kelowna's ability to meet its provincial housing target. A board member and electrical engineer from UDI says he's heavily involved in multifamily and commercial institutional building in Kelowna, and he's baffled by the news. I've been working in town for almost 20 years, and I've never heard of anything like this, so it's not like it's a standard procedure. UDI is calling on FortisBC to accelerate investments in the city's electrical structure. Fortis replied by saying that the power company is aware of the concerns expressed by UDI and local developers, as we covered in the previous article. A spokesperson for Fortis says that procuring equipment necessary for the upgrades to their facilities, which provide power for the General Hospital and the city's central core, is taking significantly longer than in the past. A transformer for a substation that once took 1 year could now be seeing up to 3 years for delivery. Fortis says that it's taken steps to mitigate the issues and they're working to meet the growing energy needs of its consumers. As you can see, Kelowna has a major issue with the ability to deliver power to some of these new developments. This could last as much as 5 years, which could put construction of new housing on pause for up to 5 years, and that doesn't help with the demand, especially in a city that continues to grow. A recent article posted in the Kelowna Capital News with a report from BC Stats estimates that Kelowna's 2022 population was 153,000, and that's just within the city. And its projection for 2046 is that total could reach 247,000 people, which is a 61% increase. And if you combine this with the population of the Central Okanagan, which is Lake Country to Peachland, it was estimated at 235,000 people in 2022, and it's expected to reach 384,000 by 2046. And all of these people do use facilities in Kelowna, so just because they don't live in the central part of the city, they still contribute to the needs or the requirements for electricity in the downtown core of the city. So what does this mean for home prices, or what kind of impact could it have? Let's first take a look at what home prices are doing right now without the pressures of this lack of electricity. If we look at the benchmark price of a single-family home in Kelowna, it started 2025 with a benchmark price of $1,030,000. This is up from what the price was 2 years ago when it came in at $975,000. There was some growth through 2023. The market did see a correction, but you can see that since December 2023, aside from a little volatility, the prices are already starting to trend upwards. And if we move into the condo market, there's quite a bit more volatility here, but in recent months, the prices started to appreciate again, and this is before the supply starts to lag while they wait for new electricity. But home prices can't be looked at in a vacuum, and there's always a bunch of different factors that influence where the price is, things like interest rates, buyer confidence, and supply and demand. A lack of new construction, though, will have an impact on the level of supply, especially as demand and the city population grow. This alone won't make prices skyrocket or increase substantially, but it will also prevent them from dropping significantly too. But let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comments down below. And if you'd like to stay up to date on what's going on currently in the Kelowna real estate market, check out this playlist right here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.